See, roll call, Chantel Baker.
Present.
Rachel.
Present.
Keith Webster.
Present. For present, we are ready for student celebrations, and our middle school student has something important going on later. So Mr. Smith asked if the middle school could go first, which is totally weird and not what we normally do, but we're gonna make the exception.
Thank you.
So, are you ready, Mr. Smith?
Okay, let me get the.
Do you need me to let go of the?
Oh, you get her looking at me.
Yeah, you may not prefer that. You may not prefer that. So,
I don't know why it's not showing.
can you send it to me?
Yeah, I can send it to you. Thanks. I did that.
Or this one? No, this is-
So I didn't, done it before, I didn't have to put the code in.
Sometimes it does need a code.
It's not even asking for one.
That's pretty good.
So I'll send it to you, I guess.
Send it to Dr. Hicks.
You get it?
I do have it. Let's see if it'll let me back. Guess I should have marked that. Something about other devices. Let's do it real quick. We'll do it this way. So I will show the board.
I got it. Yay.
Take care.
You're welcome. Wait, no, okay.
Still waiting for the pictures to load though.
Yeah. So seventh grade had student of the month this month, and we chose A. Mueller. So his family lives with mom, dad, Macy, Bryson, and Maximus, which I believe some of them are. That's Bryson, that's Maximus' mom.
My favorite teacher is Mr. Orr. My favorite football team is the Phillies.
Dangerous.
My favorite food is barbecue meatballs. My favorite vacation is the beach, Dolphin Island. And my dislikes are broccoli. I like to play college football on my PlayStation, fantasy football, hang out with my friends, and listen to music. I also like to play baseball, basketball, football, and golf. William belongs to several sport teams where he learns to be a team player and support others. In the classroom, William is kind and helpful with all of his classmates. He is often the one that helps others feel like they belong.
And I have to say, this was one of the reasons why we picked Liam is just because he is just such a kind person. And one of those students that we can put in a group with anybody and he works well with them. He makes them feel included. He makes them feel like a part of the team. So that was one of our big draws to Liam.
Liam is always growing, both academically and physically. One academic goal he has for this year is to get an A in math. One athletic goal Liam has is to improve his ball handling skills in the upcoming basketball season. Liam actively contributes to NMS. Last year he was a member of the student council, and this year he is a member of the Night Academy. In both cases, he is a leader that contributes his time and talents to create a better NMS. What do I like about seventh grade? I like switching classes and having different teachers for different subjects. When I grow up, I want to be active in the sporting industry, player or coach possibility.
There he is. Liam, come on over here. You're going to shake hands or give fist bumps, and I'll meet you over the other side, bud. All right, pal. You're going to bring this over here, and you're going to have a circle, and Bob from the newspaper is going to take your picture, and then Mom and Dad can take some pictures, and then we usually grab a family picture. Okay. That gives you a little more to work with. All right. Yeah. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3 cheese, and 1, 2, 3 max. Check those, make sure they're all right. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody. I'm sorry we have to speak out. Congratulations, everybody. He's trying.
Bye, guys. Have a great night. Good luck, Liam. All right, who's going to go next?
I'm trying. Hang on.
Let me see if John's will pull up. Let me see if I can get John's to pull up. I reset my internet in hopes that it would play better. And it did not. Somebody else got it.
All right, Emma, you're the winner.
All right, Emma, you're up, buddy.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, Emma and Emma's family. We're at the mercy of the technology.
Come on up, Tim. Is this correct? So this is Ms. Gray, one of our social studies teachers, and then our student of the month for the high school is Margaret. I'm going to let Mrs. Gray.
I was given the opportunity to select the social studies student of the month, and when I found that out, there was no question who was going to be this guy right here. And I'm happy to be here to be able to brag on him. I selected him based on his enthusiasm for life and learning. When you see him anywhere around school, he's very friendly and tries to get you to fall for his infamous prank, which just beware if he tries it out on you here in a little bit. I've seen him grow socially and academically from last year, and then I have him again this year. And he loves to share his passion and knowledge of history and government to anybody that will listen, and has offered to teach lessons and will request me to cover certain topics. And I know when he walks in my room every day that I can expect 2 questions right off the bat. Number 1, what are we learning today? Which I love. And number 2, how are you doing, Mrs. Curry? So he loves government class. He loved U.S. history last year. He's currently undecided about his plans after graduation. And he, I guess, close to his passion for history and government is fishing in his free time. Any conversation about Tim within the first few minutes, you'll probably sense his patriotism. And he shared a quote, which I'm going to read. I love this country, and the freedoms we have don't come free. They are bought with the blood of our troops who died defending them. I understand and respect their liberties.
And Tim is never
Go
the
right along here. Tim, congratulations, big guy. You did this to you. Can you stand by the seal there for us and we'll take your picture? Is that all right? Julie, do you want a picture with him? Julie, do you want a picture with him? Okay. Tim, I'll take one real quick. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Congratulations, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
All right, tonight for the Northeastern Early Learning Center Student of the Month, we have Mr. Emmett Curtis with us. Some of Emmett's favorites, broccoli. I love that one. And he said he likes it hot. And he said, do you like cheese or butter on it? Nope, he likes it plain. Awesome, I love that. His favorite color is blue. His favorite animal is a triceratops. And his favorite thing about coming to school is learning. Emmett is our October Student of the Month for NELC. Emmett has the biggest smile every time he walks in the building. He always makes certain that Miss Autumn is on schedule and wants to know how he can help. He is a great friend to all of his peers. Emmett contributes to his classroom discussions with great ideas each day. He has the best personality and is always has something to tell me either in the classroom or the hallway. Congratulations to an amazing, hardworking student. When he grows up, he wants to be a firefighter, and he has one dog named Jax. Can you tell us who's with us today? Okay. Mommy and Daddy. Bexley. And who else is with you?
My name is Annie and Dad.
Yes, that's a good job. Well, congratulations.
Gotta get all of us.
All the way down.
All the way down.
So many.
Congratulations.
Emmett, I'm gonna, boom, give you those. I'm gonna give that to you. You're gonna come around under this circle over here. I'm gonna help you get your certificate upright. Bob's gonna take your picture for the paper, and then your parents and Mimi are gonna get some pictures with you here after. Like that? All right. Bob's gonna take your picture. You guys wanna start coming this way? We'll get y'all in there. All right. All right, dude. Sounds like cheese to me. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3, cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese. There you go, Mimi.
Get one at home.
Oh, going home, okay. All right. I'm gonna get inside. I'm gonna take it back and give it to Dad. How's that sound? All right. Yep. Yes. All right, we are ready for our elementary
Yeah.
student of the
Okay, all right, so for October, our elementary student of the month is Kendall Moore. So many amazing things have been said about Kendall, so I'll read through these. She has not heard these yet. She's a 4th grade student in Mrs. Tudor's class, and from her teacher, she said, Kendall, future Madam President, is the definition of kindness and intelligence. She's compassionate, empathetic, and has a heart of gold. She goes out of her way to make everyone feel included and is a good friend. Kendall has a unique ability to inspire others with her positive attitude and enthusiasm. She always approaches problems with a positive mindset and maintains a can-do attitude even when faced with setbacks. Her smiles, and I love her smile, I said something about it too, but her smile shines as bright as her future. Northeastern is lucky to have Kendall. Some of the office staff had some remarks as well. Kendall is truly an amazing kid. She's always willing to help and does it with a smile every time. She has the biggest heart and shows kindness to everyone. I love every interaction, every moment I get to interact with Kendall because I always walk away feeling happy. And from Miss Katie, the word exceptional doesn't even begin to describe Kendall. From the moment I've known her, she has displayed so much kindness, care, and consideration for everyone around her. She's always willing to help, no matter the task. She gives her all in anything she does, but most importantly, she cheers on others while striving to meet her own goals. Kendall doesn't ever try to dull anyone's light to make hers shine brighter. She wants everyone to be successful at their goals and to be celebrated. I'm so proud of the example she sets for those around her. Isn't that the sweetest? This is the sweetest. Okay, this is your chance to introduce who's here with you. So who did you bring tonight?
My mommy, my daddy, and Emma, and me.
We're so glad. We have one part-time cat named Black Widow, who is sometimes there and sometimes runs away. Right? Is that about right? Okay. I thought that's what you said. And then will you tell us about maybe one or two of these pictures? Maybe what you're doing, where you're at. You know what about this one? That one I thought was really cool of you, like playing on the truck.
I was hiking.
Hiking, very fun.
And that was
Yeah.
me and Maddie for sure.
Yeah.
We were just going on a range ride and we got a shirt and then we just got into it.
That sounds great. That sounds like so much fun. More hiking with Starbucks. Perfect. And from the program last year. Very nice. She had some favorites as well. I just updated this because I just found out it's not the Wendy's cheeseburger, it's the Big Bag. So that is her favorite. Favorite colors, pink, purple, and blue. Favorite subject, she had all but math listed, and I did not blame her. Science, social studies, and reading. She goes between Mrs. Tudor and Mrs. Day in 4th grade. For Mrs. Day, she said she's nice and fun, and Mrs. Tudor is funny and very nice. Her favorite thing about NES is that all the teachers and students are nice. Hobbies, jumping on the trampoline, playing softball, basketball, and hanging out with her family. Hiking, they do a lot of hiking. Right? Is there anything else? No, I mean, I'm asking you. Is there anything else you want to share? Or-
No.
Okay. We're so proud. We're so proud.
Come on around, Bob's gonna take your picture. And we'll have mom and dad and your sister come up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Almost 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Now that all of our celebrations are over, if you would like to leave, this would be a good time, or feel free to stay for the rest of the meeting. Your choice.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great Halloween.
Now you are. Now you-
Check your candy.
I know. Bring it here for us to check it.
Check your candy so your parents can check it.
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. It really was almost family night, but 3 out of 4 staff members. It's pretty fun. Pretty fun. And no, take them. That's it. I know where they are. Come back. There you go. Right here. I'm not Jordan. Go ahead.
Oh, that's right.
I feel so safe, thank you.
I saw.
Don't say nothing until I fall asleep back here. You guys go right ahead with that.
I saw you hanging up there, and I was like, oh, I would never remember that.
Exactly what happened.
Guys,
Nice work.
it is my 5th year as superintendent here at Northeastern Wayne Schools. I'm in my 5th year, and I got to do something that was the first time for me. I was part of an Standards and Poor S&P ratings call. And so while I was at the beach, I went back to the condo, and I was on the phone with those folks, talking through the projections for the area in terms of economic development. Housing starts was part of the conversation. Our enrollment was part of the conversation. The way that we manage our money was part of the conversation. And after all of that, I haven't taken a class in a long time, but we got an A. We got an A from the Standards and Poor. And I felt almost as excited as any test I had taken in a long time. The way our rating works is we get what's known as an overarching AA+. So that's the state's rating. And basically that's because there's a rule that says if we don't make our payments, the state will take our education fund money away from us and make our payments for us. Boy, bondholders really like that. So we get a AA+ from the state, and then the way that we handle our money is an A, and that's the way we were rated the last time that we were rated by Standards and Poor. So we are right on par with where we have been and where most school districts our size are rated. So you only go through the process when you're about to take a bond to market. So we had not been through it since 2018 as a school district. That was the last time we said that. So great job. Great report card, guys. It's really exciting. It's pretty fascinating. As you might imagine, the technology team and I have been having some lengthy conversations about cybersecurity. We have all gone to upgraded passwords. I would tell you that you probably want a 4-word phrase password for your personal, specifically your banking items. You would want a 4-word passcode. But now I have a passcode on my computer that luckily I wrote down somewhere else, or I would not be able to function as superintendent of the school district because I don't have it memorized yet. It's real long, but I'm working on it. I'm gonna get there. But we've been tightening some things down. They've made some recommendations for this year, for next year, continue to make this as safe as possible. But they're working really hard, and I'm going to make you aware of that. Since our last board meeting, I had the chance to attend the Communities and Schools annual dinner, which was a lovely evening. Got to hear from some of the site coordinators. Our middle school site coordinator, Taylor, spoke at that event and represented us well, and they're a great partner to us, so I just want to let you know that we also support them. Had the chance to attend the IAPSS ISBA joint annual conference in Indianapolis the week before, and got to go to some interesting sessions on crisis communications and how to get community engagement and a variety of other topics. It was a good conference. I appreciate letting me go. The week before that, I was able to attend the AASA PDK Network of Distinguished Educators Conference. I didn't make the name up, but I am a founder of that group, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve there. And it was one of the most thought-provoking conferences I've been to in my time as a superintendent. There are only 20 of us from across the country. Most of them have been superintendents of the year for their state. And I was like, guys, you made a mistake. That's not me yet. But they also want some folks like me who are serving in smaller places and make a big difference where we are. So I feel very honored to have gone. And then I presented at the service center. We put together an affinity group for school safety, and they asked me to give a presentation on my experience in Millersville there, and I presented there on behalf of the district a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to a group that each county has a safety committee. I'm the chair of I'm the co-chair of our safety committee with Sheriff Redder, and the Madison County group asked me to come and give a talk about what my experience was going through that. So one county at a time, I get a chance to share what I went through and what I learned from it, and I appreciate all the support over the years that allowed me to do that. I really worked hard to help other places get better too. So thanks for that. Any questions? And also, I took a week break with my family and had a lot of fun, but apparently I got sick on the trip and suffering after there. So. Any questions for me? Thanks, guys. We'll go early learning center first and work our way up.
Sure. Who would you like to see?
Take a short recess.
The most exciting thing is we received the Early Learning Initiative grant. It is a little less than what we had initially put in, so it's $125,000, which is exciting. And so we need to tweak our budget a little bit. They gave us some stipulations, like we can't use it on playground equipment, and we have to use it within the next 12 months, which is a little different than the original plan of 3 years. So Dr. Hicks and I are going to kind of put some ideas together and get that spent. So I know one of the things already that's on order is some interactive boards for our classrooms. So we took away iPads this year and we wanted to do something with technology, and we felt like the interactive boards would probably be best for our younger group of kiddos. So we had our fall festival, which each year we try to kind of tweak so it's not the same, it's different. And we had, maybe 60 people show up, which is a lot in that tiny parking lot. And so that was exciting. And then we had, the threes went to Doherty Orchards for their fall field trip. And then the fours will be going to Brumballs next week. So some upcoming events, we have Giggles with Gals, and then our book fair as well. So.
Any questions from Mrs. Farrell?
Where goes the grant total?
125.
And we'll use it to offset some salary costs. We'll use it to buy some technology, and we'll use it for other curriculum materials. It'll be well spent. And I know it sounds like a lot of money, but it'll be gone.
Yeah, yes. We did upgrade the playground a little bit to where a part of state regulations is the kids have to be in groups. We can only have so many kids in groups, and so it was hard with all that grass area, really separating that out. And so now we have actual like rectangles. So if you drive by, you'll see, but it's laid out with mulch and a nice outline. So that's helped the kids kind of stay in their area too.
Any other questions for Sarah? Ms. Stevenson?
Yeah. So at the elementary, a couple things. We have a lot of events coming up now that we're getting near our holidays. So for example, Halloween parties this year are going to be on actual Halloween. And it's always a discussion because that's a Thursday. Better when it's a Friday. But we're going to stick with that date, and we're going to do it. This year we've adjusted just so so that the whole building is doing it the same time and day, because it was a little confusing. Some feedback from families, like who had it, who could wear costumes, and who couldn't. So everybody can wear their costume. There's a set time for that. We're gonna run a delay schedule so that those can all happen at the same time. And then parties can either be in that morning time or in their afternoon. So excited about that. The Donuts with Grown-ups that usually takes, well, every parking spot that we have during the day has now moved to an after-school evening event that PTO has combined their forces with ours, and we're doing on Monday night at the elementary from 5:30 to 7. It's spectacular. So there are so many things happening. We have the donuts will be there from the orchard. Kids can pick a pumpkin and take it home. Book fair is set up. Trick-or-treating, so we're taking donations. We need as much candy as possible. I mean, I can't believe I just said that out loud, and then I'll have kids the next day, but we need candy for donations. We've had some come in already, but they can trick-or-treat around the school. But everything's inside so that if there is rain, we'll be okay. But lots of fun things happening there. We've had a lot of donations come in just from the community. So pumpkins for the event, the Urban family, Teresa Urban's our instructional coach, her and her husband are donating like 600 pumpkins that they've gotten from a pumpkin farm near them so that every kid can have one to take home with them. So those will be there that evening. We got a donation from Bank of America that came kind of out of nowhere. A family member set some money aside that they wanted to be used somewhere. It was about $250. And it's going to go towards our arts program, so our music and our art program. So we're going to use that money for decorations and music and props and things like that. Williamsburg Lions Club, they've donated for a number of years, and they wrote a check for $1,000, and that was last month. But this month is when we're going to be using that towards, it's going towards like a book club initiative. So that money gets put towards books in hands for teachers and students. So we're excited about that. And then kind of just happenstance, I had just spoken with a family member who was having trouble with keeping up with lunch money for their student. And they were a couple $100 in the deficit. And I told her, we'll figure it out. And I'm not kidding, it was the same day. A gentleman, Barry and Brenda Byer, everybody knows them, they're from here, came in and wrote a check for $500 to put towards lunch accounts. And so that wiped a lot of debt out for a lot of families, which was very generous of them. He said he just wanted to be a good Samaritan. Didn't even want his name mentioned, but I talked him into it. And then iReady. So we did some iReady training, which is our reading and math diagnostic, but we used the reading for the math program for our curriculum as well. We have the second edition of that math program, and with that came some upgrades to the online component. And we just rarely have time to sit with the vendor and do some PD, but Mrs. Plank set that up, and during our PLCs this week, for an hour, every grade level team is meeting with an iReady person, and they are going through and finding resources online and things they can download. So that's been very helpful. Dive kicked off. It's very exciting. Kicked off this year. So the Dive program is a partnership that we have with the church and with LifeSpring, and we started this week with our K1 and 2 students. About 60 kids are signed up for K1 and 2, and another 60, so almost 120 right now, are signed up to participate 1 day a week. They stay and participate in activities, and that's all volunteer-based. And the church comes in, they go through training, they train their volunteers. Volunteers take personal days off of their normal day jobs. It's fantastic, and they come and spend time with our kids. So that started this week. And I think the last thing is, I don't know, I have to get the date, but I think the next board meeting, we won't do that Wednesday. Will we do that Wednesday of Thanksgiving? Okay, so I will go to the principals conference that week before Thanksgiving, and Dr. Hicks will be going with me. And we have an awards program to go to that evening, and then I'll have 2 days where I get to spend that time in Indianapolis for the principal conference, which is my favorite conference.
And a reminder, we're going because she's the District 6 principal.
It's gonna be fun. I've never been to the banquet, so it's like, I guess, dinner and all of that, so that's Sunday night. So, yeah.
Any questions?
What is the DIE program stand for?
Ooh, yeah.
I knew somebody would ask me, and I cannot remember.
Text.
Like, you want to text a friend?
We'll get an answer by the end of the meeting.
Yeah, I will. They split the kids, when I was in Richmond, this principal, we had it there too at my school, and my kids were so disappointed the first day, a couple of my kindergartners were like, I thought we were swimming, I thought we were diving. I was like, no, we're not.
It's our break.
No, they love it. They do some physical games and activities. We give them 2 spaces, and then they learn and read about the Bible, and they hear stories and lessons and participate in that way. And the families seem to really, really appreciate that time for kids to come and have that at school. And then they'll do the same thing in the spring with just another round. They'll come back and do it again.
Is that with the permission slip and everything?
Yep, we send those home and they send them back. I think what I love too about the program is the permission slips, they will take them anytime. So a lot of kids may hear about it from their friends and they've gone to 1 or 2 dives and now they want to go and they always welcome anybody. There's not like a cutoff for that, which is great. And honestly, it's the church does it so well. I'm there, but I don't ever have to really do anything.
It's developing important values for eternity.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Steve? Mr. Smith?
I thought you just had one for Keith.
All you. Yeah, maybe someday you'll get one too.
So, so in the middle school, the students took the iLearn checkpoint #1 prior to fall break. And just as a refresher, I wrote down that the DOE has offered schools the opportunity this year to pilot a new way of doing the test. And so we'll do 3 checkpoints throughout the year. About 80% of the schools in Indiana decided to do the pilot, so we were one of them. The idea is that they will take these throughout the year. It's going to be less stress, and then they'll still do one in April. It won't be as big as the one that they've done in the past. Students will have the opportunity actually this year to take it again. So, if, for example, if a student came in and didn't have the best testing situation to occur prior to that happening, they can have the opportunity to take it again. So we're gonna look at that and see which students that we want to have take the test, have a second opportunity, and we'll do that sometime in November. Tomorrow I'll have a selected 8th graders take the PSAT. Middle school students had the opportunity to listen to a panel of college students that we arranged from IU East, and then we also had the Vice Chancellor of Enrollment at Ivy Tech come and speak to them during College Go Week. And I think that they asked a lot of good questions. This past Monday and Tuesday, I got to attend the Indiana School Safety Specialist Academy Advanced Training in Indianapolis. And I wrote down the topics of some of the sessions that I got to listen to: safety in sports, school attendance, the Allen County evacuation reunification exercise, behavioral threat assessment, school construction and renovation trends, in the second half of the day, planning for after-school events. We also had heard from 2 keynote speakers. One was from a law enforcement officer that was present during Sandy Hook, and the other one was an expert in current drug trends, which focused on vapes, synthetic drugs, and other things that they sell in convenience stores across Indiana and how they impact our youth. It was very eye-opening. First rounds of MTSS have concluded, and teachers then we met right before break to look at the next students who have been recommended, and so that's going to be started this week.
MTSS again?
MTSS, I'm glad you asked. I have another handout here.
Oh, wow.
So I wrote down what MTSS means in a nutshell. So MTSS, or the multi-tiered system of supports, is a support system that we are implementing in an attempt to help identify and support learners who are struggling academically, socioeconomically, and behaviorally. The middle school has begun implementation for this with our 6th grade team, particularly in the area of academics, math, and reading. With MTSS, there are 3 tiers of support. Tier 1 is the instruction that all students receive every day in the classroom. And for our students who struggle with Tier 1, they move on to Tier 2A, which is a small group support with the teacher in the classroom. If these individuals are still struggling, they can be referred to Tier B, which is a small intervention group that occurs for 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. Referrals are based on iReady scores, iLearn scores, classroom performance, attendance, and the conversation and held with a team of teachers, MTSS coordinators, and implementators, and administration. For students that qualify for Tier 2B, they will receive an additional 6 weeks of small group intervention in the area of reading or math, working on the skills they need to be successful. At the end of this 6-week period, another meeting will be held to determine if students have shown enough growth to leave their Tier 2B instruction, if they need to remain in 2B instruction, or if they need to be moved to Tier 3 instruction, and or be referred for special education testing. Currently, we are coming to the end of our 6-week cycle, so the next steps discussions will be happening in the coming weeks, and additionally, we are looking at referrals for other 6th graders who may need an intervention to help them improve in the areas of reading and or math. We will look at these referrals, make a plan, and begin a new 6-week cycle at the end of October. So that's kind of what it is in a nutshell. And there's a referral process. So the teachers that are referring a student have documented that they've done everything that they can do in Tier 1 and then Tier 2A. And so that means that we would decide as a committee if they do qualify for Tier 2B. And then they would be, like I said, coming out of the classroom for 2 to 3 times a week for about 20 minutes and getting like really focused, concentrated instruction.
Is that just for like a set, I know it's the 6 weeks, but is it for like in the constant evaluation every 6 weeks, could the 2B student go back to 2A? Or
Yeah.
do they just go back to regular classroom?
It could be both.
Okay.
It could be both. They would definitely go back to the classroom, and they could still be doing something small group oriented in the classroom.
Okay. So are they all independent, or do they work simultaneously? Like if someone goes to 2A and then is identified to need to go to a 2B, do they continue in classroom small group stuff while they're also doing the 2 3 out?
That's a good question. So we do not take them out of instruction during instruction time.
Okay.
So it'll be during SRT because all of our SRTs are aligned by grade level. So they will be taken out of that during SRT time.
But to answer that too, yes, like they would stay in everything. You just keep double up. Even
Okay.
our students that
So
are
just more
identified.
focused
Yes.
attention. That's
Yeah.
This is all 6th graders, or is this just students you guys
This is K to 6.
identify?
K to
Oh,
6.
K to 6,
Yep.
okay.
So it helps us, special ed wise, not get so many referrals. And to see, okay, do they just need some extra intervention? Or do we need to go to that extreme, special ed?
And I went to visit a school a month ago where I saw how that worked really well, because I think that a lot of times we get these requests, and it's just because the parents see their grades and they're like, oh, they don't understand that they must need an IEP. But what now we have is a tool that allows us to see a lot more than just like one person's recommendation or request that they would like to have testing done, because the testing is so time consuming, and this gives us a lot more data to work.
You were on
Okay.
6.
Only 9. Students have the privilege to participate at a Fall Fun Fest where they got to play some outdoor games like 9 square, volleyball, cornhole. There were stations set up for crafts, bounce houses, and that kept me very busy trying to keep those clean. Looking ahead, parent-teacher conferences coming up, as well as a Veterans Day celebration. We will also be doing something for Halloween. The Knighton Academy has planned an opportunity for students to participate in it's supposed to be trunk or treat, but trunk or treat during lunch. And then, can I steal your thunder, Mrs. Baker? You're going to take we're going to take the middle school grade level at a time to Newcastle at the East Central Educational Service Center to explore the RIASEC-centered experiences. The RIASEC is the widely adopted theoretical and applied framework for interest measurement, helping students understand what career paths may be best for them. The ECESE offers RIASEC-centered experiences in PD to area schools. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with what RIASEC is, it refers to John Holland's 6 personality types: realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. And I've got another handout for you, which digs into each one of those letters. And it kind of, what it does is it helps students use what they're good at and how it matches their personality with what they could do as a career. And it reveals careers to them that they may not know exist. And so we got to see this in San Diego last year when we went. Was it last year or 2 years ago?
It was
It might have been
the spring of the year before.
Yeah. So, and we got to see how this worked, and we got to see it at an elementary school, and we got to see it at a high school. It's really cool. And so what they're going to do is they're going to take a RIASEC test, and they get their top 3 letters, and so that'll give them an idea as to what careers would be best suited.
And the thing that is intriguing about this is when we were kids, we didn't do this. Like, the Holland codes were not part of my upbringing. But when I took the test to figure out what my RIASEC are, I am social. I know that shocks everyone in this room. I'm enterprising, and I'm an investigative. And all 3 of those pieces are part of my job. If you look at the duties of superintendent aligned with the RIASEC codes, I picked the right job for me. So I really would encourage you, if you have family members in your life that are trying to figure out, where do I fit? What are my gifts? How do I figure out where I fit in this world? This is one lens that really does help specifically younger people get a better sense of what kind of careers would make sense to the things that interest me, that align with my personality. This is a great way, especially in middle school. I live with a middle schooler, and every day she's reinventing herself and trying to figure out, where do I fit? Who am I? And one of the things we talk about is, what do you want to do when you grow up, right? That's the question I was asked as a kid, but not, are you social? Are you enterprising? Are you investigative? None of those things came up. And through those lenses, kids can find career clusters. And sneakily, we hope they find career clusters that keep them here in Wayne County with us. And so we're working on helping kids know, hey, if you are investigative or you're conventional, there's lots of work here in town for those types of career clusters. If you're social, lots of jobs, So we really are trying to help them see that. Any questions for Mr. Smith? Any reference to any of the handouts, guys?
Very, very next level.
Can you send us the link to it?
To the RIASEC link? Yeah.
You're pulled up.
Google.
I was a little disappointed it wasn't on here, but.
We wanted a QR code.
No, just
I
know,
know, a QR code would have been nice.
I need a QR code or something.
There was a lot
I have
to
the
digest,
paper
and you
version
need
on my
to
desk.
slowly move your way into this.
All right, folks, calm down. All right, well, I think
Is this part of like real time?
no, it's not the Tonight Show. We don't get a cut.
So I did not write down my super secure password. And so I had to have Justin Oil come in and reset mine last week. So I still can't print. So, so I'm gonna go through mine, and then if you don't mind, can we share some pictures? I'll do it here in a second, but, again, to what Mr. Smith said, echo, he said, thank you for allowing us to go to the Indiana School Safety Specialist Academy. Got some really neat stuff, got some eye-opening things, daunting things that you see, drug trends that are going on that are things that are for sale right up here at the gas station. So I'm looking forward to bringing the takeaways back to the schools and starting investigating those, after school activities and putting plans together to best suit our students and our families to make sure we're safe. So it's a really good meeting, our conference. In our last meeting, we discussed the PSAT on October 10th. So far, we've got almost all of our freshmen through juniors tested, with a few more that were absent that we have to still test them. But we should recapture those results in about 46 weeks once everybody's done. And once we get those results, then we'll be able to sit down and kind of go through those and decipher what is the best ways to move forward. November 11th, we'll have our Veterans Day program. That'll take place in the morning. Some sports updates, as you guys already heard. Obviously, the football team has gone 9-0 this season. A pretty great accomplishment. They start sectionals at home Friday against LaPel. So it'll be looking forward to that. The cross country went to sectionals last week. We did not place as teams for the women's or men's, but we had 4 runners advance. So there was 1 female and 3 boys advance. So that was fun. And then volleyball, a very young team this year. Had a lot of young kids. We had 2 seniors is all we had, and then 3 juniors, and the rest were freshmen and sophomores. So played some tough teams, learned some things. So kind of looking forward to next year to see what they do with that. So one of the things I'm going to go ahead and present from here. One of the things that we did after the just kidding, it's not going to show up. Okay. After the PSAT,
4193.
Miss Miller spearheaded we call passion projects, and so I'm going to let her kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Get some pictures to show.
So passion projects, it's something that I've heard about it from trainings I've gone to in the past, and it's just a really cool way to find things that students are passionate about. We had the afternoon where we were like, hey, what are we going to do? We're going to make them go back to class, and teachers kind of watch them as they've been bored out of their minds taking a test all day, right? Or do something fun. So what we did was we had teachers pick different passions that they have, and then we formed these groups. Teachers were awesome about being willing to do things. We got some donations for some of the things they needed for their groups. And then they, hold on, I thought I was gonna read off some of the groups that we had. And then we had the groups. So for example, here's some that we had. We had the movie club. So they actually watched the movie, they talked about it. He had snacks for them. We had becoming an IHSAA official. Mr. Green has done that to help students do that. So he started that club. We had live stream club. Furniture making with Mr. Kiesling. So they started the process of what it's going to look like. And the goal of this was to like something that we could continue throughout the year. So, obviously we can't do this on the weekly, but we could do it like every few weeks or, maybe once a month for Fantastic Fridays. That's kind of what we were thinking. The night walk and ride, this one was pretty cool. They took a group of students. There were 3 teachers. They took mini buses. They had a trailer for bikes, and they went over the trail, and they got to either walk or run and ride their bikes. The kids, they really loved that, and it ended up being a really pretty day. What else? Pickleball, that was a very popular one. Kids wanted to sign up for. Euchre, cozy quiet reading time. I led Beads and Beyond. We made jewelry. That was really fun. I personally loved it too. We had the ag shop, and I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen the ag shop? How much they did? It was on that Thursday before break. So they have literally cleared. The first step was they cleared out the whole. They got rid of all kinds of stuff. You actually walk in there now. So that worked out. They're gonna get an old tractor and rebuild it into like a race car. So the kids were really excited about that. And then most popular was Miss Hinky's road trip. And she took a mini bus and she took kids around town to some of her favorite things. Like a record shop, and they went to the bagel shop and did some, things that maybe students wouldn't do on the norm. So the whole idea was to do this. The kids we went around, we haven't created the video yet, but we went around and interviewed the different groups, and the students really, in my group in particular, they were just like, I just feel like it takes the stress away. Like it was just a nice way, it was, to do something different with your teachers, and then the day-to-day thing, and wish we could do it more often. But so these are just some pictures. This was the one of the art clubs. They made little pumpkins,
This was with the, oh, here's part of my jewelry club. We made leather earrings, and they made beads and did all that. The kids had fun. This was also the art club. They took the, they had like the teachers had already made them, Mrs. Peters, and they painted them. Got to take those home. So it was a cool activity. I think the students all really enjoyed it, and you know, I have a survey to send out to teachers to see if that's something they want to do in the future. Oh, Mr. Haynes's was pretty cool. He did the what do you call it? NCH grill and chill, and he had cornhole sets and made hot dogs for all the kids, and so it was very well rounded. Lots of different things. So the kids got to get a group, and they did that. So pretty cool activity. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about is the academic wall update. So it was a couple of meetings ago when I was here. John shared the idea of that space where the Vows and Sals used to be, outside the gym, right? That's where it's always been. About how to do something with this and how to get some quotes on some ideas for that wall. Well, since then, I've kind of had the bug in his ear, and I've talked to Dr. Hicks about it too. Like, how can we come up with? It was an idea that Newcastle had done where they had these. They're like TVs, and they look like this, but they're touch screen. There's lots of different ways you could do them, and if you could see at the bottom of the touch screen, there's little different things that you can click on, and that is how you would click on the different things. So my idea was, hey, how cool would this be if this is something that we could incorporate here? Well, all of a sudden we realized, I didn't know this, we had the student community engagement grant that our school got, and we are going to have a group. And the whole idea of this, we got to sit on a meeting with two of us and Heather Smith. She's going to help kind of head that up and get a group of students. The whole idea is to get a group of students to do something for the community, whether it be giving back. But it's $20,000, and you get to do something for the community. The students are going to help decide on what they want to do and how they do it. But we've kind of spearheaded the idea to do this. And what it will do is you'll be able to put it in that hallway outside of the gym where they used to be. And it'll be able to highlight not just the Vows and Sals. They'll be able to, the group of students will be able to get together. And it's literally a program. This whole, I put the website up there. What's it called? Vital Sign Wall of Fame. There we go. And what it is, it's a drive, and they get to actually, the students will take like old yearbooks, and they would start with the most current and go backwards, and they upload like pictures of, the old groups of bands. Like at Newcastle, my parents were in the band in 1975, and there's a picture, like you like literally scroll through, boom, there's a picture of the band, and you can pick them out. So it's just a really cool way to highlight not just the Vows and Sals, as awesome as they are. They'll have big pictures on there as well. But this is not like 100%. We're doing it, right? But it's just an idea that we think would be a great way to highlight lots of different groups, music program, all the different sports teams, honor program, graduation classes, all that, yearbooks, and they would be able to, the community would be able to come in and go through and look it all fast. Does that make sense?
So and this is an idea.
It's an idea.
It's an idea as well. Compared to what I actually did the other day. One of the things that we went through, so after our last board meeting, we had 3 tours, classes, like 30th, 40th, and then it was 20th. As we went through one of the classes, a class of 1984, going through the hallways, and they're like, well, where's our composite at? And I'm like, it should be down here. And then we got there, and it's not there. And so it's just kind of one of those things where another idea is like, this is something we could have in there where they could see, it can give us more, it can give us, go back to the history of Northeastern and how the school was formed, and just do some neat stuff with that. So it was another idea to present, to see what you guys' thoughts were on that as well.
And it's a program that can just continue to build. It's like it's endless as far as like the space for things that you can put with it.
The thing that I found interesting when they came to talk to me about it was they can conduct interviews with community members or current students, former students. So right now we could interview our TEC champs, right? Those kids are here before they graduate at the end of the year. They can conduct some interviews with the team about what it was like to win this TEC and how far they go in the state tourney, those sorts of things. We can be capturing that real time with kids now and archive that into perpetuity, but also start to work to be a little bit of an investigative journalist approach and try to get folks in to do interviews about past events that are hallmark memories here at Northeastern.
So, and just to bring back a lot of that stuff that, if we've got it in print, we can upload it. So it's something where we can go back as far as we can and still bring those people. So when they come in, if they come to watch a basketball game, they can go over there and, hey, where were the vowels inside? And they pull that up. Or, hey, can I go back and look at my yearbook picture? If we've got it, we can put it, they can be on there as well. So it's something that would build, but it's another idea compared to just having those vinyl boards up and then stay there and then you just add. It's a way we can include that in this along with other things as well. So.
And one thing too, if you can connect it with like ThrillShare and our website, so that's another really cool thing. I know at Newcastle that we're able to do that. You go on there and watch a video of it and see it in live action, and it's pretty cool. It's fun to look at, and you spend a lot of time on there. And I think a lot of people when they come back, for sporting events, or isn't there a day where like alumni are able to come in?
Well, usually around homecoming or
okay, yeah.
There's usually tours.
Yeah, so they come do tours and stuff. So it's a cool idea. And the students would be the ones that upload. It'd be a group, not like a passion project. They would take a group of students, and they meet and be at the club, and they help upload all of this. So you wouldn't have to hire somebody to do it because it's a lot of work.
I really like the idea of it almost being like an active time capsule for moving forward, and a great way to, because we are such a community school where generations go through our school. I think it's a nice way where you can connect back to previous generations. That,
So the one thing about that school community engagement grant was they want you to do something, the students to pick something to do within your community. So if you think about it, we've got Webster, we've got Windsor. So how do we do something in all of those and capture it? So we thought, well, this is a way to capture all that in one, and so that everybody can see that.
So I like this idea, but it can't just be the kids that do it. There has to be an adult.
Oh, yeah.
Heather Smith. Supervised.
Yeah, Heather Smith
Right,
is interested in it.
But I'm saying, like, who's Heather Smith? I'm sorry.
She's our
attendance secretary. She does student government and is involved with a lot of that.
Okay, so, I mean, as the time goes, if Heather leaves or whatever, I just don't want something like this to fall off and then it never get updated and no one ever do anything with it. And here we've spent so much money. So that would just be like my concern, is that if we're gonna do it, it's gotta be somebody that, or important enough that it continues even if whoever leaves or, moves on kind of thing.
So I think the tech department too would be involved in it for sure, like making sure that it is, that's a good point to make though, yeah, for sure.
I don't see it as being just one person over it. I think there'll be multiple people, so therefore, if one person leaves, there's still
that would be
people
good,
continue.
instead of it just being one person
Correct.
over it.
And I don't think their intention, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think your intention is to ask the school district to pay for this. The grant.
No.
It's the grant would pay for this.
And also, I guess I have a couple of things. Are you proposing, I know it's not set in stone, but are you proposing that that's taking the place of putting any kind of pictures up or anything like that?
So, in a way, yes, because at some point we're going to run out of space. I have no issue saying, hey, if we did this on part of it, and then we still did it this year's vowels and cells, or on this side of it, we can still do that and still hang pictures and continue that. And then once we move that to the screen, and then next year's class, they could stay up there for a year, and then we move them to the digital screen for the next year. I mean, I'm open to look at anything. I think it's the idea that we can encapsulate more than just one thing. And I think, like, if you look at our trophy cases, we're running out of room. So then what happens to those? Like,
No, I think it would be cool because, I mean, our history after so many years is forgotten because it's not there anymore, or whatever. So I think it's a cool idea. It just has to really be watched over,
right.
That it continues to be updated all the time. And it isn't something that just fizzles out after a few years.
There would need to be those pieces that we know, like these are the priority pieces, and then like the interviews of the district basketball team. Who made districts? something, and those kind of things, if they were to fizzle, I wouldn't be so concerned about that, but to lose a picture of a balance out, yeah, I hear that. I like some of the examples that they have just here on their website of it being set up near a place where you can emphasize the recent, but then have an opportunity to look up the past. The past isn't forgotten, but it's also not taking up all of our wall space because
Well, as
that's
the class of
limited.
'84 found out,
Yes.
we just run out of
Right.
space.
I mean, you walk all the way down the middle school hallway.
Right.
It's like, we're not, I think 92 is the last one, is the last one. Because, and now when people start walking the hallway, they've now started to suck a road below it. And so to that point, we're starting to run out of that space.
Well, I think it would be cool, because we were just talking about West having an undefeated season, and the last time was 2014. Well, no one remembers 2014, but I do, because Joey was here, but you do, yeah. But if we had like a video of them from 2014, and because something cool has happened again now. So yeah, I think I see the value. It would be really cool.
What size are these screens?
You could do, like the ones at Newcastle, they have 70-inch ones. So like when you pull balance out, it's like literally the picture this big. I mean, they're pretty big pictures. So yeah, you could, there's different sizes and different price ranges and all that.
So is there like a running one all the time and then you can select different
Yeah,
options?
there's pictures that run. I'm just going off what I know, what I've seen. There's pictures that just constantly run, and they meet like weekly, because I know a lot of students in it, and it just updates with like recent pictures. And then the things at the bottom, they have updated now all the way past. They back to like the 50s. But then you click on the bottom, and then now they're just able to just add every year. And it's cool though. You click on extracurricular activities, then you click on the year, then you click on the sport, then you click or the band or the choir. It's really cool. It's fun to play around with. Like you can literally stand there for an hour.
My other
The big iPad.
question would be is the safety of it, just because you're gonna have kids coming through there.
Yep. And I think that's part of it. We would look at the different options, because there are some that are a little more protected, like the way they're set up. That's definitely something that we'd have to, or like at lunchtime, if that's when the kids are, that's one thing for sure we'd have to think about.
And it would be, so we've started transitioning away from projectors over time, because the projector is about $1,000, but then the light bulb, when it goes out, is about $800. And so it just continues to be this expense. And we can get a 65-inch touchscreen for about $700, $800. And it will last longer. It's a little more durable. My point being, if we have to replace that screen, it'll be big, but it won't be redoing all the work. The work will live probably in the cloud. So just uploading it onto a new device sort of future-proofs it.
Yeah, they have something like that in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, if you guys have ever been there. And hundreds of people go through there, and that's what it is. You touch screen, you can watch so-and-so win the race, and, so I think now that I'm hearing more about it, that's what it is, kind of thing. And hundreds of.
And this is just one company that I know that Newcastle, I reached out to them and said, hey, what do you guys use? So there might be more out there as well, something to look into before.
But also, before you guys do anything, you're gonna tell us, right?
Oh, yes.
The idea of where it would be at is nice, because we don't very rarely do we have people come up with the academic. They will come in for sporting events. So that place back there is a prime spot.
Yeah, I think in order to move forward, you need to get the funding plan tightened down. And maybe if there were a couple prototype videos that we could share with the board, so they get a sense of what it would look like in its final form. And but if we're gonna order, because that grant is due by the end of the school year.
They've given us some flexibility on where we need it. So how long?
So if we're gonna dovetail those two things together, it'll probably be this school year, I would imagine. So
Yes, and the idea with that grant too is, right now it's 1 year grant. The goal is that fifth last year, just to make that become more of an ongoing grant every year. So then we could do more things with it beyond just this and do it for the community.
And I think a big part of it that's really cool is that our kids will get to, our students will get to do something to connect with the community, connect with, maybe their parents and grandparents that went here, and be able to be like really proud of, like, hey, look at this, because we want, the idea is to have a group of students that are involved in this. So, I think it'd be something cool that you'd be really proud of.
I like the, this potential that another grant would come up that we could do again, because I would be curious as to the use of something like this, that, when there's a large display all throughout the hallway, you can walk and you can look as, and people behind you that are coming into the basketball game can also be looking. When it's one TV screen, then it's kind of limited to the options of that one person. And I would wonder, after even having it for a year, if a second screen that kind of bookended some type of display in the middle might be necessary just for the attraction to it.
And I have seen, that's what a lot of schools I think end up doing, or they have it in different spots.
Yeah.
So
Well, and
then,
that was my other thought was is there another place in the school that would have that kind of traffic that might warrant us wanting to say, should we put a second one here? Just, I don't know.
That's our biggest high traffic area.
Of course, yeah.
Right, second would be on the middle school side.
Right, the other side of the cafeteria.
Nice job.
I like the option. I like it.
Thank you.
If you can kind of put together some final, because I do think they need to know what the plan is and can get feedback and get a sense of it, because we are changing our tradition. And I want to make sure I say this out loud. I think we have told you this. The company that did our side-by-side portraits was Jostens. They were our yearbook company and road company for forever. We have, for a variety of reasons, moved away from them, moved to Harrop Jones. And this is not one of the products that Harrop Jones offers, and we can't buy it from Jostens anymore because they're not a rep. So our ability to keep those pictures going is also kind of obsolete as a result of that relationship change. So we have to do something different anyway. This one feels very future-proof, and like the composites have taught us, we really do only have so much physical space inside the building. So I just want to make sure I say that out loud. This isn't just because of this grant, just because Newcastle has this, we also have this other problem. Any questions for Mr. Smith? Or for Mr. Harper, sorry. Sorry. It is the coffee witching hour and so much buzzing. Yeah, right. I apologize. Thank you, Mr. Marford and Ms. Miller. All right. We are ready for community comments. Are there any members of the community here to give comment to the board prior to their decision making? Community comments going once. Community comments going twice. Community comments going thrice. Hearing none, let's move on to the consent agenda items. In your consent agenda are the board minutes from the September 18th meeting and the October 9th budget hearing. Approval of claims since last board meeting. Transfer tuition. We have 2 10th graders. Fundraisers. Student council, hot chocolate sales, National Honor Society, RADA, cutlery fundraiser dates shifted to July 2025. Music department updating their Butter Braid fundraiser for February 1, 25 through February 18th. Junior class officers powder puff game at the end of football season. Self-flavor drinks after school or at that event. 8th grade would like to take the DC trip. They would like to sell warm glow candles. October 24th start day. And after prom would like to sell Delco pizzas sometime in the spring between January and February 22nd. They're eyeing the Super Bowl. That may get pushed out to March Madness, though they're trying to decide. Those are all the fundraisers. Donations. We have an unsolicited donation of $500 check from the Northeastern High School class of 74 for our Community Award Scholarship Fund. This scholarship money for one or two. This will get to be determined later by the counselors of our graduating seniors. Field trips. We've got a lot of field trips. Finding Nemo and the Stinky Cheese Man at the Civic Hall. Dr. Kaboom at the Civic Hall. Transcendia and Blue Buffalo for our manufacturing class. FFA is at National Convention this week. Principles of Healthcare is going to Reed Hospital. 5th grade is going to the Showplace Cinema. 2nd grade is going to the Showplace Cinema. And for the record, we are no longer going north to Winchester because they only have a single screen and they don't have the daytime viewing options that they used to have. So now we go to Connersville because they will accommodate our students. And for some of our students, this is the only time they ever have a chance to go to the cinema.
And they've read the book, we're not just like.
Yeah, that's right. That's also,
You know.
thank you. 7th grade is going to the RISEC Learning Center at Sunnyside in Newcastle. 6th grade also. The high school is also took their passion project field trips. Grades 9 through 12 have an opportunity to go to the IU East Nursing Department on 10:30 and again on 11:05. And then for the Early Learning Center, the green, yellow, and purple rooms are going to the Indianapolis Children's Museum in March. Yeah, that will be 25. We'll make that amendment in the minutes.
It should be the 25th.
No.
2025.
No, 2025, not
Oh,
2024.
thank you.
Yep. Overnight approvals. Ironically, Ms. Correa was here, and I wondered. My first thought was she was here because you're going to consider the New York field trip. But 3rd grade would like to go to the Carilion Dayton Park in Dayton. The choir would like to perform as they always do in New Paris, Ohio, and then the seniors would like to go to New York City, March 19th through the 21st of 2025. Do you know the cost of that trip?
Yes.
Oh, I bet it's on that. I bet Alyssa knows. We're driving and flying this year. Flying.
It was still around, it's at least 1,500.
Around
Cost to drive was not much.
Not much better and a lot bigger house. Okay. We'll get you that amount in a second. Personnel, winter ECAs, varsity boys basketball, assistant varsity boys basketball, assistant varsity 9th grade boys basketball, assistant varsity 9th grade boys basketball, volunteer boys basketball coach ×2, 7th grade boys basketball, varsity girls basketball, assistant varsity girls basketball, assistant varsity 9th grade basketball, 8th grade girls basketball, 7th grade girls basketball, varsity wrestling coach, archery coach, assistant archery coach, varsity cheerleading coach, 7-8 cheerleading coach, assistant varsity cheerleading coach, varsity boys golf coach, varsity softball coach, varsity JV softball coach, varsity girls tennis coach, varsity boys track coach, and varsity girls track coach, and PBA sponsor. Picked up a lot for us. Middle school boys track coach and middle school track. Junior class sponsors ×2, 5-6 boys basketball coach, 5-6 girls basketball coach, volunteer gymnastics coach. 8th grade boys basketball coach, NMS wrestling coach, volunteer archery coach, grades 5-6 cheer coach, additional archery coach, kindergarten team lead, 1st grade team lead, 2nd grade team lead, 3rd grade team lead, 4th grade team lead, 5th grade team lead, MTSS chair, culture leader for the elementary, NES, NELC mentor teacher, JV wrestling coach ×2, volunteer wrestling coach, volunteer girls basketball coach ×2. Personnel changes. We'd like the board to approve Ms. Baker as our career coach. The career coach is grant funded this year through a grant that we wrote for the service center. And we would like to transfer a TA from part-time to full-time permanent sub, effective 10/7. New hires, We have a CNA for the Early Learning Center. We have a student with significant medical needs there, so we need a medical professional to help with that student. We have part-time food service workers. We have a sub for the food service department, which is so exciting. That doesn't happen very often. We have an additional full-time instructional aide, a substitute nurse for the first time. If you remember, we approved the wage previously, and this is the person to go with that wage. And then we have part-time IA, also effective 10/21. After 21, you heard that right, 21 years of service to the Northeastern Wayne School District, Jeannie Brookshire is going to retire effective November 15th of this year. But don't worry, I think she's going to stick around and substitute teach a little bit. So she's not going to let all the way go yet. But she has some situations in her personal life that she would like to be able to help her family a little more with. And it was a heart-wrenching decision. She loves Northeastern. She's been with us for 21 years. And we will honor her at our spring retirement luncheon. But I did want to make note to you as a board that one of our longest standing employees is going to retire next month. And sadly, and great for her, bad for us, Miss Miller has been offered her own building in another school district to be the principal in elementary. And she has accepted. So tonight the board will have to vote on her resignation.
I really am appreciative though, guys. It's been the best, 8 weeks? It really has. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk now. Can I talk?
Well, you're already doing it.
Okay. I kind of tend to do that sometimes. But no, it was an opportunity. I didn't apply for it. It was none of that. So, but thank you for the opportunity I've had here. It's been wonderful.
And she is going to stay with us through next Friday, wrap some things up, and then we wish her all the very best as she moves on to the elementary that she went to as a child. So we're proud of her and excited for her and sad to see her go. That is everything under the consent agenda. Any questions?
Like, for example, the trip, whatever, everything paperwork that you guys have, we should have. And so everything should be like on there so we can see it before the meeting. You know, like the New York trip, like we should see that paperwork for the New York trip.
We'll
I
get
mean,
that
that's just an
included.
example, but just anything that we're voting on, we should see beforehand. So it should be uploaded.
We'll get it done. The cost on that New York trip is $1,527. Fine. Thank you. We will fix that.
No big deal, it's just, so we could like look at it before we come.
Absolutely.
It is a big deal.
It's good to read.
Yes, before we get here, because, so we're like voting on some things that we just didn't see at all, and I can't see that screen at all anyway, so from here, so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Van Dyne for the consent items, seconded by Mr. Webster. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0, sadly.
We have no unfinished business. It is time to adopt the budget for 2025. Are there any comments from the public regarding the budget for 2025 as advertised? Twice. Hearing none. To remind the board, you'll be voting to levy for our debt service next year, $1,503,336 to pay off all of our outstanding debt, including the bond payment we anticipate selling. We do not have to collect pension debt because that debt obligation falls off in December. You are appropriating $12,750,000 and you are asking to levy $2,250,000 from the local taxing public to fund the operations fund, but you are approving $4,400,000 to be spent, and I have that resolution later in the budget. Any questions about any of those things? Good. You're all, you need to approve the budget, and then we'll talk about the capital projects plan and the bus replacement plan, so on.
Any discussions on the 2025 budget?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Webster, seconded by Mr. Van Dyne for the 2025 budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
Additionally, the 2025 capital projects plan needs to be approved by the board, which was also presented at the previous budget meeting. It's slowly opening
I saw the top line said oh, is that different?
Yeah, carpet replacement.
Is that in that? Is
Yeah,
it under
it's
one of
a
those
different
tabs?
tab.
Okay. It said carpet. Okay, that's it.
And yes, carpet.
Like, is carpet going ahead of the?
No, this is not the
Oh,
rank,
okay.
this is not the rank order, this is not the prioritization. These are just projects
That need.
that NES carpet replacement has been on there since they hired me in 2018. It's, it's just fun, extra $1 million laying around.
Because I was like, no, we need.
Yeah,
The bricks.
you're right, this is not the priority.
Okay.
These are all projects that if we have the funding to do, we would consider doing, but the priority are the bond items that we've already talked about. Any questions about the capital projects plan?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Claypool, seconded by Mr. Webster to approve the 2025 capital project plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
Every year, we plan to buy 2 to 3 buses, depending on what our budget is. This year, we hope to buy 3. But we always budget for 5, should we have the unfortunate event of having a bus accident after replace 1 or 2. So that is our bus replacement plan, and we have to show what we've done and show what we intend to do in the future.
So the electric bus, those are going away. Is that what I heard? No?
No, we'll hold all 6 of those. We have to hold on to all 6 of those for
Okay,
5
I
years.
didn't mean to go away. We're not gonna be replacing with.
We were approved for the rebate program again. And our portion of that, the first time was approximately $60,000, $59,000 per bus. That's what we paid Northeastern. This time, if we were to say yes, we would pay $220,000 per electric bus, which is about 70 grand more than we can buy a diesel bus for. So we said, no thanks.
Okay, so as we continue, we will go back to the diesel buses.
Unless the time comes where the EPA clean bus program goes back to the Northeastern favorable bus purchasing amount, then yes.
Do we have an ETA on when we will receive these buses?
They are currently at an 18-month lead time. Yeah. I assumed that the board would say yes, so we ordered a couple. And if the board says no, it's fine, we can cancel the order, but if we don't order soon enough, we won't ever see them. So.
Did we have, we talked a few months ago about the issues we were having with the charging on those electric buses. Is that resolved?
Those problems are resolved. New problems have presented themselves. We're basically in beta testing for Curlin, who is the vendor of our buses and our chargers, and we've had problems with both. But we're getting really good at fixing those problems, and each new problem that we have found has led to the next thing. So, I mean, from the rooted to the tuta, we're gonna know how to fix these buses. My fear is we're gonna lose Burge in his retirement to fixing an electric bus.
That's part of why I asked, and the other side of it is if we have in the budget, we budgeted for 5. Yeah, if these are gonna keep causing us issues, or we're gonna come into a year where we're gonna fall short. 5, we have 5 electric buses? 6. Because they all start being the ones we have to replace earlier than, our timeline on
If
bus rotation.
if we come to the point 4 years from now that we have decided that the juice isn't worth the squeeze, metaphorically, then we can sell those buses for market value. Right now, market value is at or above retail value. And we, Northeastern, would get the proceeds of that sale. Those buses sell for $475,000 right now. So if we sold them, we would still have a windfall even if they lost half their value. And there are school districts out west that are closer to a third, a half, 3/4 of their bus fleet are electric. So I think they will retain their value even if it turns out the Midwest winters are hard on them, or our vendor can't seem to fix all the problems. So we do have a contingency plan should we continue to have gremlins as the 1980s movie probably. If we continue to have gremlins in the works, then we'll have to consider.
Does the grant that we purchased them on, because we had to intentionally replace diesels, does it in any way prohibit that over a certain amount of time? Or
5 years. We have to have them in service for 5 years.
Are all 6 currently being?
There are 5 on routes, and we have 1 as the electric bus sub at this point, because we've had enough issues. So we would love to get to a point where all 6 are running routes, but so far that has not been realistic.
I was gonna say, define in service for me.
Yeah.
What is the,
When one
for the
breaks,
grant, what does the grant?
oh, they're all taking their turn rolling, so they are all in service. It's a great question.
I got a motion to approve. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Van Dyne for the 2025 bus replacement plan, seconded by Mr. Webster. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
Each year, due to our circuit breaker and the maximum growth quotient that prohibits us from getting the tax dollars that would come to us as a result of the increase of our assessment across the district. This year, our assessment went up 13%. The state law only allows our tax rate to go up 4%. These two things together continue to be difficult for Northeastern Wayne schools as we consider levying tax in our operations fund. As a result of that, we will send the near maximum 15% allowable by statute from our education fund to our operations fund. That's the operations fund twice. No, education to operations to cover the costs of keeping the lights on, running the buses, the salaries that are in the operation fund, and all of our construction and maintenance costs. That amount this year for the 2025 budget is $1,912,500. That amount will change when we get our 1782. This is the most that we would be allowed to transfer, but we won't transfer this much because the DLGF will cut us when they send us our 1782. But this resolution goes in line with the budget so that I remember to do it so that we can get the money over. We usually transfer 2 to 3 times over the course of the calendar year to make sure that the operations fund does not zero out.
Make a motion to transfer that amount from the education to operations.
Motion made by Ms. Claypool to transfer education to operations, seconded by Mr. Van Dyne. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
Each year, I request a blanket appropriations modification resolution so that if we are cut by the 1782 or we experience a tax shortfall, I can modify the budget to the amount of money we actually collect to our taxes and not spend the amount that you've appropriated. That way we don't spend money we don't have. And so this resolution, this blanket appropriation modification, allows me to not spend all of the money we just talked about if we don't receive it.
Yeah. Wrong date in the first whereas.
Nope.
Couple years behind on that.
Got it. I fixed that. Thanks. Let's stop right there.
Motion to accept the appropriation modification. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Van Dyne for the resolution to not spend, seconded by Mr. Webster. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
Under new business, we have a contract before you to consider our HVAC plan. And there's this is the legal language. This is common boilerplate architecture contract for AJ. I had him look this over, and the amount is there it is. Compensation is proposed as a fixed fee of $128,000. This is to run the project to replace the HVAC at the elementary. Reimbursements are estimated at $1,500 for each package. The above fees are due and payable based on percentage completion of the project. The breakdown of fees is below. And so we will, once the board approves this contract, we will begin design development immediately. Our goal is to put the rest of the HVAC work out to bid as soon as possible so that supplies can be ordered by those contractors for principal work to occur in the summer of 2025 and beyond, depending on the arrival of those pieces. This is just the cost. These are the soft costs for the project. This is the design and overseeing the construction implementation of the HVAC system so that it works physically and it integrates with our systems so that we can control the airflow better. Any questions about our contract with CMTA, who is basically the environmental services contractor that will oversee the project?
What's their role in bidding?
They help prepare the bids. They'll do the walk around with vendors when they come. They'll answer the vendor questions with us and specifically with Mr. Burge. And they will be the ones who make sure that we are compliant with state and bidding laws, our own policy when we bid out that work. And they will help us with vendor reputation. That's also part of what they do, is protect us from bad actors in the market.
We need a motion for us to approve this.
This is also reimbursable from the bond. I want to make sure I say that out loud as well.
Initially paid for a rainy day.
Correct. The bond hopefully will be sold three weeks hence. There's still some couple loose ends.
Motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Webster to approve the HVAC engineering contract, seconded by Mr. Van Dyne. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0.
We have used Parent Square since 2019 here at Northeastern, and it's been a good product for us. We've had a lot of great communication with it. Their price has increased incrementally to a point where they are now competitive with our website provider, Aptigy's version of the same product. I would ask the board to consider us moving from Parent Square to Aptigy Rooms, is what the product is called, in the summer of 25. What this does for our parents is creates a one-stop shop for all of our Northeastern pieces. So if you have not, there is an app in the App Store that is our Northeastern app. And we have a lot of social media that goes out through that. When I close and cancel school, I send it to the app to alert parents who receive that alert in the app. We also have Parent Square, which I also have on my phone. So we have two places that we're asking our parents to go for the information about Northeastern. This would take it to one place for parents to go and look at how the football team did on Friday night and what my teacher is telling me about class for my third grader or my high schooler or what have you. We would also be saving money over the long term of the agreement, because this year Parent Square is $7,200 and our annual cost for rooms will be $6,500. So that will help offset the one-time developmental fee. And I think I've said this before, but I will say it again. Aptigy is the Disneyland of customer service. I've never had a vendor in my personal life or my professional life be more responsive if there's an issue. We had a pass-through issue from Frontline once where you could only look at one job on our website, and David was on a call with them, and within a half an hour they'd solved the issue. The website was fixed. It just doesn't happen. There's no other vendor that has been that responsive. So we'll be going to a vendor that meets all of our safety requirements, all of our federal requirements in terms of cybersecurity, and everything will be housed under one umbrella.
Does Aptigy, do they text also?
Yes.
Okay, so the parents will still get the text?
Yes. The parents will see their texts, and parents can opt in to get it sent as a text, but they'll also see it through app notification also.
Where does like Evently fit in? Does that fit in anywhere with that?
I think that right now, boy, I'm going to look at you because you're the high school principal. I think Evently does talk to Aptigy, and our events are supposed to be passing through to the website, to the calendar on the website.
The way, from what I understood, is it's uploaded at the beginning of the season. Something changes. In this case, Mr. Howard will have to go in and change his Aptigy to fix it if there's a change.
That's what even having that as another option is all together instead of having so many different ones.
I think that we can probably utilize Aptigy to do that function, but we'll have to teach Mr. Howard how to upload the events. But I think that's a tech piece we can get across the finish line. And this, to be clear, this would not impact parental communication during this school year. This is something we would have a soft transition to in the spring, and then we would have to start teaching parents about it back to school nights next fall, and the soft rollout in spring and summer to be ready to have our staff.
And Parent Square would disappear and this would come in. You wouldn't be going back and forth.
No, I have found that to be incredibly maddening.
Yes.
So no, we would not. We would have both simultaneously this spring, but parents would not be exposed to the Aptigy rooms unless we have like a test pilot in one teacher's classroom and maybe one sport. But those would be field tests, not all 1,265 of our families.
Is Rooms a separate platform from our website app, or is it integrated into that so that?
Great question. I think it's probably a visual. Let's see if I passported my way right out of this or not. So ThrillShare is the behind the scenes aptitude. This is how we, like when I close school, this is the way I go in. And if you look, I usually choose Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, live feed, and notification. Those are the ones I pick.
Live feed is our website.
Live feed is our website. Moving forward, there'll be another gray box out over here where teachers can choose which class they send to. So rings would be down here, and you would pick your room that you want to send it to. But this is how we would see it on the backside as a parent. Everything would look like it does in your app, only you would have another box to go in your teacher's room.
That's what I'm just wondering if it was another additional app that you uses that talks to our program, or if it's all
You would have to-
into one platform.
You would have to log into your Northeastern app.
It goes into this app that we have.
Yes. Yep. Part of that app is public, so the website stuff is all public. Anybody can see it. This stuff would all be behind the login. So the parents, so all that is password protected.
Now we don't have to see about our app, so.
It's okay.
Which, I guess them aren't all updated on the app, but I'll have to do it later. Because I think they're using more power, or Parent Square.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Parent Square is the main mode of communication with parents right now. The feedback that I hear, and I get a monthly report. Fall break was telling the district usually sends 3,100-ish messages a week, the whole school district. Over fall break, that number was like, it was 100 at the high school and like 300 for the whole district. So teachers, families, everybody kind of backed off, but not all the way to zero. And next week, Monday, it'll be 3,100 messages. All of that has been through Parent Square. And I will tell you, I talked to the administrative team in 2 consecutive administrative team meetings, because this will be a transition, right? Anytime we transition from one thing to the other, it's a pain point for our families. But I also think it's going to drive us to have more content available for our public, because you can just, when I upload this picture for my families to see on this side of the firewall, I can pick to put these pictures up on the elementary side or the middle school side. So I think it's going to help us get a little more exposure, but I also think it's going to streamline down to one place I go for everything Northeastern.
I just know this Power School, or Parent Square, is really good, because, I mean, there's on there that tomorrow there's gonna be some bus changes and stuff. Then I got a text that said, so as long as it keeps everyone updated with text and stuff.
I believe it's going to function very similarly, based on the demos I've seen and the people, like, I believe Tri-South Henry has been on Rooms for a year. And when I talked to that superintendent, who's now Connersville, when I talked to him about it, he raves about it. He thinks it's very intuitive and his people are happy with it. So. But I share, anytime you change, I share that concern. But I think this will help our parents have one place to go. It has our picture, like, that means my kid.
It doesn't mean they won't still receive a lot of messages.
They'll still get a lot of messages. They'll still complain that we're over communicating.
That's good.
But I think being on that side of it is better. And I really want to, I'm glad you guys said that. This team is very, very good at what they do, making sure that parents know what's happening in their kids' classrooms and their lives. You haven't probably ever gotten communication from a parent that they didn't have a clue what was happening with their kid, because it's a priority for them, it's a priority for their teachers. I've been in places where it's less communication, it's harder to be successful. These guys have really set us up for success in that regard, regardless of the platform. That's the other piece, is I know how good they are, I know how good the teachers are. This is gonna be a which buttons do I click in this program problem for teachers, not a what do I do problem. So.
I'm making a motion to approve the transmission to second.
Motion made by Mr. Van Dyne for absentee rooms, seconded by Mr. Webster. All in favor? 4-0.
Yeah, I can never spell it right. I know that I need to share this with the board. I don't know if there's nothing formal. They don't approve. They don't have to vote on it. This is just me sharing with them. Okay, that's what I thought, but I want to make sure there was no procedural hurdle that I was not sharing. It is my pleasure to tell the board that our building construction corporation board is made up of the following members: Angela Klein, who is the president of the building construction board; Tony Fisher, who's the secretary treasurer; and John Roll, who is a member. Those are the three folks on our construction corporation. And I did not know you were going to be here, but we are in renewal season for our property casualty and workman's comp insurance. And as we've talked about in the past, we no longer have a local insurance agent who is housed in Wayne County. Shepard Turner and Mr. Wagers have been working behind the scenes to get some quotes for us in order to have a competitive quote with the product that we currently have. The board and I need to approve Turner Shepard as our agent of record so that they can go to the marketplace and bid on our behalf. Shepard Turner. Turner Shepard. Turner Shepard. Sorry, it's not alphabetical. That's my first name.
I was kind of confused.
Turner Shepard. And before we make a big decision like that, I definitely wanted to discuss it with you and get a sense from you where you are as a board and what your thoughts are on allowing Turner Shepard to do that on our behalf.
Questions?
Need a motion?
I don't know that I need a board vote. I just need to make sure that there's no concerns with it and you're okay if I move forward with it. Okay. Excellent. We are going to be short lunch coverage for a while. We have some critical staff members, some of whom are taking new jobs, some who are going to be gone on parental leave. And this is a problem that we've had at the middle high for a while and exists at the elementary. And so to start, we'd like to ask the board to create 2 middle of the day lunch coverages for the same price we pay for a half day sub, which is $50. And if we can find people to take these jobs, what I said to the middle school when they asked if this was possible, I said, oh, I don't mind going to the board and asking them. You guys have the hard job of finding humans who will come in and supervise, like saying it out loud, supervise the cafeteria for $50 a day.
I think that's an awesome job.
Oh, I think
I mean.
you're hired.
You gotta be careful, Kim.
She can't be hired.
She can volunteer.
She's volunteer. But it depends on people's lives, right? Like that time of day can be problematic for some people.
I just,
Dealing
people
with
who-
teenagers.
yeah, I know, but it's different than in a classroom.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's a radically different ask. I do agree with that. But I
I think
just,
any age group could do that, and, you know, I think it's great. Great job. Hopefully they find some people.
I hope they can too. They think they have some folks that they'll cajole into this. And I view dubiousness having done almost 20 years of lunch duty.
How many are we meeting on a daily basis?
I think if they found one, they would be super happy, but two would meet. So the other thing that's happened in the secondary level is we have expanded the number of spaces we have with students during that time. So it used to be the cafeteria and a hallway, then it became the cafeteria, the hallway, and the gym. And then some days it's the cafeteria, the hallway, the two gyms. Like they just really, in order to get the kids spread out enough to supervise them safely, they've just kind of run into a situation where the programming dream is a little bigger than the staff we have. And they can curtail it, they can bring it back into space, but that creates some discipline issues and some other things.
Who's doing that now?
The administrative team, the counseling team, and a rotisserie of teachers.
So, like, for example, our SRO's out, she's running, doing something, so we'll be without Holly. There's time, like, there's moving parts that we don't always, can't always plan for, like, hey, we know this person's gonna be out. They're like, hey, let's go to this run, and so now we're short something, so that's what we're running.
Motion to approve. Second.
I'm sorry, I was smiling and laughing. Mr. Van Dyne, motion for additional roles in cafeteria and seconded by Mr. Webster. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
It is with great joy that I share with the board that our newest therapy dog is almost done.
His test is
It's like happening right now.
tonight.
So Murphy, as long as he doesn't have dog test anxiety, will be a certified therapy dog. Hopefully by the end of the test, but we have to wait for the certificate to come. So I would ask the board for permission to have Murphy in the classroom the very day that certificate can be produced.
The teacher.
Patty Boyce.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Webster for Murphy the therapy dog, seconded by Mr. Van Dyne. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
How does that work? Like if there was a kid that was allergic in that room?
Well, so she's already contacted all the parents, and that would be their opportunity to say, hey, little Matthew is highly allergic to dogs, which turns out, long story for another time, that's true. And then she would have to keep Murph probably gated and away from that kid during the day and have to make provisions so that kid.
Is that kid gonna like feel bad that he's making the whole class?
Yeah, you even so, I don't know. That's a great question. We've never had a parent say, my kid is so allergic they can't be around a dog. It just hasn't happened. But if it was, and it was so medically bad, I know this teacher, if we said to her, hey, we can't do this year, she'd be like, okay, yeah, I wouldn't want to put a kid at risk either. So that's.
Because I have a kid who's not a kid anymore, but I have a kid that's allergic, not medically bad, but his eyes get itchy and he sneezes and he coughs. And so if I had a whatever grade, 3rd, 4th right now, I would like feel terrible to be like, oh, sorry, my kid's allergic, and just being in a room with me.
It's about the same as how we handle like peanut allergies.
Yeah.
Like my kids can't take anything peanut to their 1st grade class because there is a student in that class who has a high peanut reaction. So
This is a cool dog.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a teaching moment.
Yeah.
It's a teaching moment.
But I think if a family came to us and said, we just can't do this, we would work through it. I mean, we would figure out a solution. I know there's a school district where the superintendent has a therapy dog, and my dog is not going to make it through that class. She's a beauty school dropout. I don't know what to tell everybody, but she's not going to be able to get that done. But in that school district, he has 4 people in the buildings who can watch Rosie while he is in his office working. And so these teachers are great teammates. If we got into that kind of situation, I bet one of the other grade level teachers would take that dog to that grade level and still be exposed to the dog
Just
as
not in
appropriate,
the
just
classroom.
not in the classroom, not all day. You know what I'm saying? I think we would be great problem solvers should that come up. But this year, that teacher's already reached out to all the families, and they've all, no one has voiced a concern. So
That could be something for second grade. Patty's third, right? So it could be something for second grade, end of year before.
Yes, because we have
Students
one more
move up.
dog coming through the class, and he is
Oh.
second grade.
Oh, okay.
So we'll know,
Okay.
we'll know then, and we've never had all of them there at once either. But somehow, by luck, they've all been placed in separate areas, so we have one in the preschool room, and then potentially one in second grade, third grade, and then we used to have Milo in fourth, but he's gone, so. We do have one other teacher that has one ready, but he hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll know for the second grade dog.
And then you can always think of that student placement too. Is-
Yeah.
is just keeping those kids out of that classroom for the long term.
Are there any board comments? I wanted to say thanks. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope.
I started talking and I think you were starting to. I said Miss Brooks here for 21 years. I mean, luckily she's been here longer than I've been into the school system, and she's been great. Miss Miller, she already left, but 8 weeks has been, I don't know. She's left a good impression, so I'm very sad to see her leave. I understand that Northeastern has become a stopping ground. Everybody moves on, but they move on for a reason, so I get that, but she will definitely be missed. And just a kudos to all of you guys for always thinking outside the box and doing a lot of good stuff for our kids. And just, it's fun and interesting listening to your guys' discussion, so thank you.
And I'm gonna laser focus that, and I wanna thank you for your continuity. Appreciate it.
Any other board comments? Any employee comments?
Yeah, I have like 3 handouts. This is the time.
Can you bring
It's
this to
been
the
done.
member, please?
And they have QR codes.
I like QR codes. Any other employee comments? All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Webster made motion to adjourn, second by Mr. Van Dyne, all in favor?
Aye.
4-0.
thank you guys.
Rebecca, I get-